Um, okay. So I'm just gonna carry on talking about how the importance of mediumship and how I actually think that when um, when somebody has lost somebody, it's just miraculous to be able to communicate and have that communication. But hello, we have Amber in Louisiana. Are you there, Amber?
Yes.
Hi, Amber. How are you? So I think that we're sort of coming to sort of the end of the show, but I know that so I was talking about how mediumship is so very important in our world, and I just wish that people would those people that wouldn't believe in this, or those people that don't agree with it for one reason or another. And I just wish that people would embrace it, because my experience of mediumship is not, the spirit people that I speak to, or my guides, are beautiful souls, and they look to help so many people, and they look to support so many people in the world. And my talk right at the beginning was about being, having love in your heart and giving to people. And I know that, my guides always sort of try to instill in people that it's about giving. That brings on to another subject, is about forgiveness as well. I think that forgiveness is sometimes very difficult, but probably one of the biggest challenges that we have in this world, to forgive people that have wronged us. But I think if we can forgive people and show love in our hearts, then that's a tremendous gift, not only to the person that we're forgiving, but it's a gift to ourselves, because we're not carrying it along in our life. We're not having to deal with these the negativity of life, because I always think that sort of negativity will bring our energy down and not help us to shine. And what's important is, we've got this opportunity to live this life, and we should shine, and we should lift ourselves up from the negativity. And I think that if we can start by forgiveness, that's and having love in our heart for even the people that have done us wrong, then that is just a wonderful thing to achieve in life, and a wonderful thing to be. And I know that and one of the things that the spirit world has often said to me, actually, is that it's hard to forgive, but it's even harder to forgive ourselves. That is sometimes the hardest forgiveness. But I also think that, when we get over to the spirit world, it doesn't end there. If we need to forgive somebody, we still have to achieve that. We still have to do that in our lives. It's so important, forgiveness, and to have love in our hearts for everybody, even those people that we like to call our enemies. I've had 2 or 3 dogs in my life, and one of them has just recently passed, and I used to call him a love dog, because he literally would like to sort of give love to everybody and anybody that I knew, and I think we have a lot to learn from our animals and our pets. They're the ones that actually give us love and support us so much in our lives, and give us happiness. If only humans could give love in the same way. So I guess have love in our hearts, and forgive, and forgive not only others but forgive ourselves for our actions, and that is just, I guess, the important message for today. I hope you've enjoyed the show. My name's Gail Moffat. You can find me on gailmoffat.com or on Facebook, whichever way you'd like to work with that. And I look forward to hearing from you and see you next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.
This is me, Fiona, your subconscious mind surgeon, and known as Persian Medium, who basically working with police officers, private investigators, and to find missing people, and also helping individual cases. If you guys have any problems, any issues, and you do have missing persons, there is a crime cases that you want me to get involved, then just go to Fiona@aggravating.com or PersianMedium.com. Send my assistant and my agent's email, and I will help you guys after. So before I take any callers, I want to talk about the vitamin supplement and actually the mineral things. Oh my God, it sounds like something is wrong with that. So basically, a lot of my clients ask me questions that, Fiona, you are eating anything and everything when I'm with you, but you are not gaining any weight. And we just want to know, like, what's your secret? My secret is about that I am eating everything. So I'm not going to say, okay, just vegetarians or vegans, oh my God, and other stuff. So, I mean, I'm sorry, guys, because I'm receiving a lot of text messages, a lot of emails and everything, and that's maybe why now my producer is going to get crazy of me. I'm sorry about that. That's why my phone actually moving and my computer is moving. So, okay, back to studio. So, well, The reason I'm actually telling you about this stuff is because I receive a lot of emails and you guys DM me all the time and ask me questions about like what we should actually take, what we should do. So I have to say I eat carbs and sugars and anything that everybody kind of says, no, we stay away from this. No, I'm eating anything and everything, but in a very, very small portion. So remember that if you want to lose weight, you have to not take enough calories that you normally did. Basically, every single day, based on our weight, we need to have in between 1,700 to 2,200 calories daily. And if you want to lose weight, you have to go below that 1,700 calories or 2,200 calories. And in long term, you are going to definitely lose your weight very gradually and very nicely without actually you're going to get any problem with your skin and any other things. And a couple of my clients asked me about like the vegans and kind of like vegetarians, like what we should. Well, I would say, to be honest, normally this is my opinion. I'm not, and I can't be because the vegan. I can't be a vegetarian. I can't. So, I mean, I don't know how people can do it. If you do have kind of religious things that you want to be, that's just congratulations. If you can't handle it, that's good. But if you always, eat a normal, and then all of a sudden somebody tells you that just, use just a protein, having just protein in your life and not taking any other things, it will not going to be good for your kidney. So remember that if we go through just one simple nutrition, and think about that just vegetarians or vegans and kind of like those supplements, it will actually give us anything and everything. That's not true. Because I personally actually use these diets and it's just not going to work for me. Not at all. So I have to eat bread. I have to eat rice. I have to eat sugar. I have to eat everything what I want and what I need, and protein, meat, and everything to make my body function. Being just vegan and vegetarian, you can feel almost fatigued and down. So mix them together, then you become much healthier and happier. This is just my opinion. You can do whatever you want to do, but my opinion is I would not change my diet out of sudden just because somebody told me to be vegan or be vegetarian when I was like in the 30 years and 35 years, eat everything and anything. So back to studio, and I have Michelle. Hi, Michelle. How are you doing? Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Hi.
Can you hear me? Yes, of course. I hear you right now.
Yes, I can.
Awesome, gorgeous. Give me your date of birth, my love, and tell me about your question. Go ahead, please.
My birth date is October 18, 1969. And I had a question regarding a job and a relationship. But the job, I just applied for a position, and I had it's a supervisory position for a big airline. I had my interview about 3 weeks ago. I'm still waiting on a decision.
Mm-hmm. Well, congratulations. You will have it. And I actually pick up the dates. Yes. Listen to this. It's about, I got May 14, May 17, May 23rd as a summit date that they're going to communicate and talk to you about your matter. So basically, they already approved you, and there is 2 more people that should look into your stuff and just say, well, yeah, she is a good candidate, which I see that you are, and you are almost kind of overqualified, because I can see that 2 of them were actually 3 of them that already watched these things. It says like, yeah, she sounds to be fantastic for this. And yeah, she has a good background, or there is a good resume and everything. So congratulations. I mean, I would say you will
thank
get
you. I felt positive at the interview. Like right now, I've been a flight attendant for many years, so this would be a supervisor of the flight, overlooking flight attendants. And I had my interview about 3 weeks ago, and they would contact me in about 2 weeks, but then I saw the opening again. So I got kind of discouraged about it. Like I was kind of, I wasn't too sure. So I emailed just to, I just was saying that I wanted to follow up and, on my application, on my interview, and they're saying they're still conducting interviews.
What I want to recommend you is just leave them alone. Don't try to communicate and try to connect and ask them a question where they are at. The reason that they did not have a conversation means the good things, actually means the very fantastic things. I'm happy that they did not have any conversation with you. And no news is good news, because if they actually feel that you are not the right person, they would actually, answer you right after, or actually 2 days after, that I'm sorry, we just move on with some other person.
Right.
I see that right now they do really care about you and your background. They do care about you and your, your experience. And I see a couple of things and a couple of factors. Actually, you've been very good. And that's why one of them actually mentioned about wow, she sounds really good and I never would qualify. And that's fantastic. So yeah, they just wanted to figure out how much money they had to offer you, as a salary, what else should be, what type of actually personality, or better say, what type of responsibilities you're going to have more than what you know already. So it's just a matter of discussion, a lot of simple things, a lot of level of details, and those details is not really that important. You should be concerned. It's actually the regular kind of routine things, and that's why there shouldn't be an issue with them. So you're really going to feel good about it, So that's exactly what I can see. And
so you see me back home.
Say it again, honey.
I work out of San Francisco. I work out of California, but I live in Hawaii. So I'm away from my children at times, and I kind of want to be home based so I can, be around for them more. So that's why I'm hoping to get a position so I can be more, in their everyday lives and still do what I love doing, like helping people and, It's a bit.
Well,
it's a
actually,
step up.
I see the move for you. Yes, I see that move for you. So there is a move, and there is actually a reconnection for you and your family. And it's just going to happen because I can see that you usually affirm this for a long time, and congratulations, because whatsoever you ask, you are going to receive. So yeah, you do fantastic, sweetheart. I wanted you to visualize more. I recommend you 10 minutes before your bedtime. 10 minutes before your bedtime. Have your mind completely set. Meditate for 10 minutes and see yourself in the place that you want to be. Feel yourself in the place that you want to belong, and actually, feel yourself with the person that you want to be with. If it's going to be your children, your family members, anybody, anything, I want you to feel and sense yourself almost in 21 days, 10 minutes before your bedtime. Just feel, sense, and reconnect, and make your frequency catch and connect with the universe frequencies, which actually going to give you a very fast and very awesome result. Focus on the positive they'll begin. And when all the negativities come to your mind or doubt come to your mind, please distract them, remove them, reduce them, and relieve yourself from all those thoughts. So basically, as far as I'm concerned, everything sounds to be very good for you and your family. Money-wise, everything is open. There is no blockage. And credibility-wise, reputation-wise, it sounds like that everything is moving forward. And when it comes to your health and well-being, everything sounds to be good as well. So don't stress yourself more than you do today. Don't try to let yourself to feel all over the place. Make everything to, work out and calm down. And the rest will come to you when you visualize your 21 days, 10 minutes before your bedtime. It sounds like a miracle big miracles will come after that. So congratulations and wish you luck, sweetheart. And if you need me, and if you want to talk to me, if you want to tell me anything or ask me like questions, and you can find me on A1R, or somehow it's kind of hard to find me, go to advice.com, advice.com, sign up there, and then you can email me, you can text me, and you can call me from there. It's the easy way that you ask me a question. Hello, can you hear me? Yes. Okay, back to you, and now I have, let's see, Tanel. Tanel. Hello, Tanel.
Hello, I'm here. How are you?
Hi, Tanel. How are you doing? I love your name. What does mean?
Thank you.
Tanel? Do you know that?
Yes.
Tell me.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Tell me about your name. What does mean, your name?
I don't know. I know my parents just named me after the singing group Captain and Tennille.
Okay. That's a nice name. I like it. I really react to it. Like, Tanel, it's beautiful. I like it. So it's not something that you see and actually you hear every day, but it's also kind of, perfect, luxury enough, gorgeous enough to feel. You're fantastic. Okay, cool. Cool.
Right.
Okay, fantastic. And maybe your parents actually love the musicians group of people, maybe music, maybe song, maybe something, because I can feel and sense that they really been into when you came to this beautiful world. They really wanted to name you this. So congratulations for that. I'm happy for you. So Tanel,
Yeah.
give me a sense of word, my love, and then tell me about your question. Go ahead, sweetheart.
You said tell me about your what?
Your date of birth.
My date of birth is March 19th, 1984.
Okay, and then tell me about your question, what you have in your mind and what you want to know of your moment.
Well, my real question is, I'm starting a new job on Monday, and I want to make sure I'm making the right decision by changing this job. So I'm really already missing my old job already, and I haven't even started yet. And I'm very worried.
Okay, let's ask for you. If you make the right decision, answer is yes. You already make a right decision. If this decision will help you to grow or actually make you to become, successful enough to feel proud of yourself or actually give you enough money or finance or better finance, answer is yes. So you got all those answers as yes. So you should not really be worried about it at all.
Well, that's a good thing to hear.
Yes. So, it sounds like it was a very nice decision so far as you made. And it sounds like also that will change a lot of circumstances around you to the better, which I love it. And this change and this challenge will take you, baby, to the next level, which I'm happy for that. So you should not really be worried and concerned about that change. You should say, I am in a position to receive this change. I am asking, and now I am receiving. So be positive about that change. Be receptive about that change. Feel good about yourself and about that decision that you made already, which I think that it was kind of hard for you to make that decision. I think that you went through a lot of question marks and doubt. But what I love about you, you are more positive and see the positive things about that are going to be a negative actually interaction. So I love that how positive you are, how positive you are thinking, and how powerfully actually you feel good about yourself and what you are up to right now at the moment. So good for you.
Thank you.
Good for you. So tell me about if you have any other questions when it comes to love life, when it comes to actually other stuff, because I see that you have a couple things in your mind beside that job and that decision. I see also a little bit of confusion. It's not job related or career related. It could be a little bit of stress about passion, love, or feelings, because I can see that you've been emotional in the past of 3 weeks. Again, it's not job related. It's actually emotional related. So what's going on, baby?
Yeah, I'm actually a little conflicted with somebody that I really care about. And I know that he doesn't want to be in a relationship with me, but I just want to know, how does he feel about me? Like, we had a really big situation with us, and we stopped talking, and we talked here and there, but lately I just been thinking about him a lot. And I just wish that maybe he had the same feelings that I have for him.
You know what I feel about this guy? I mean, he has feelings for you. He does love you, but he's very scared of obligation and responsibilities. And there is a couple weaknesses that I can see that, this guy had or has as well. So if you ask me, do you think he loves me? Well, yes, he does. If he cares about you, yes, he does. If he feels that you are a real deal, yes, you are. But when it comes to just making a decision, getting married, or actually doing a lot of other stuff, he sounds to be a little bit guarded and careful.
Okay.
Give him time. Let him to digest. But don't doubt about his feelings.
Well, there's also somebody else who I see that they want to be in a relationship, but I don't like him at all. And it's like he's more like a friend.
I see. That's what I found out about your confusion emotionally. That's what I felt that okay, you're confused emotionally, you're emotionally involved with something that you have to also feel. But you know what? It doesn't matter if the second one badly wants to be with you. It should be you if you want to badly with him or with the first one. So you should not force yourself in anything, and you should not actually tell yourself that because the second one is actually a very good guy or somehow wants to be with me, well, and the first one doesn't like me or doesn't want me the way that I want, that I have to actually jump to the second relationship or actually with the second person. You should not do that. I think give yourself actually, I know that you gave yourself a lot of timing because I see that it's just been an ongoing process in the past couple of weeks and actually 2 months. But I wanted you to give yourself a little bit of time to digest what you exactly want to do. For the first guy, he always going to be guarded. He always going to be quiet about his feelings. So you're not going to hear lovey-dovey things from him because this is exactly who he is as a person. I mean, his personality is based on this. But when it comes to the second guy, so basically you're going to feel a lot. I mean, basically he's the guy that's going to always come around and feel good and, make you feel yourself. But if there is no attraction from your side, then don't waste your time.
Right, and that's what it is, no attraction.
Then don't waste your time. Because you have to be together with someone that you feel good about that specific person. And if you don't, then don't try to pretend that you're okay. By pretending, my love, nothing will happen. So you have to feel that I am completely connected to this guy. I love this guy. I want this. I want that. But if you don't feel and you're not really feeling happy about this, just let it go. It's time for you to let go. Don't force and don't feel poor for him. Sometimes we women, we say yes to men just because we feel bad, because he's a good guy, he's nice, he didn't done anything to me, but I feel bad if I'm going to say goodbye to him. Well, don't do. You know what? If you're not feeling good and you're not attractive, then don't waste his time and his heart, and don't play with his heart either. If you know sooner is much better than later. So my advice to you is cut the cord with the second one, or at least have him as a friend, and tell him that you are just my friend, nothing more, nothing less. And then when it comes to the first one, give him time and see if he can get rid of these fears or actually that type of weaknesses, which I can see that come from his past, and we can't do anything about it. That's it. And
yeah,
just
the
time.
first one I did something very horrible to, so I don't never expect him to forgive me.
Yeah, I understand that. That's why I think that you have to give time. And I think that you understand when I say that to you, because you know better than me right now what is wrong and what is good, because based on how you feel, both guys right now at the moment, you know exactly what I meant by just say goodbye to the second one or somehow like have it just as a friend and then give time to the first one and feel like what he's going to do. But as far as I'm concerned, you are doing fantastic. So, and I think almost after July 20, July 23rd this year, you are going to settle down with your love and your passion. So you're going to be fantastic there. Do you have any other questions, sweetheart?
Just one more, because I know you have a lot of people you have to get to. I need to know, am I going to learn how to drive this year? Am I going to get a car? Because I have so much bad anxiety.
Well, those anxieties and stresses come from unnecessary stress. You are a type of the person that bring unnecessary stress to yourself, which is not good. Oh, we have just 90 seconds. So, honey, for more information about me, go to avidadvice.com, PersianMedium.com, avidawakening.com. But avidadvice.com, that's the only way that you can email me and you can chat with me and you can call from there. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great one and bye.
To Amanda Hall Psychic here on the Gold Coast. It's an absolutely beautiful day here, I suppose, if you like cold, wet and windy, but we're not complaining. We need the rain here. So I hope you're having an absolutely awesome time wherever you are in this amazing globe of ours. It's always an interesting week astrologically, and this week's probably been no exception, but let's go on to the card of the week, because I think that's sort of a great place for us to start, because I think no matter where you are and no matter what the weather's doing and how you're feeling, I think it's always nice if we can brighten our day or brighten our week up with something positive, and I'm pleased to say this week's card is something positive. It's the Ace of Wands. Now, the Ace of Wands is new beginnings, birth, not always birth of children, but birth of ideas, new ideas and creations. And I'm really proud to talk about this card, because when we first started designing the Simply Tarot deck many, many moons ago now, this was actually the very, very first card that we designed in our original deck, which was going to be modern and up to the minute. And then the buyers hated it, so we had to go back and recreate the writer deck. But this was the very first card that we started with. And here in Australia, we have a tree called the frangipani bush, which comes from Hawaii, I believe. And it means birth and regeneration. And it's interesting because the frangipani that's actually on this card is out of my garden, in my front garden, and it's actually my hand that was the model in this card. So it's always been an extra special card to me, and it's always been a card, even long before we designed this deck, was one of my favourite tarot cards, because when I saw that, no matter how gloomy or how negative the reading might have been for me or the client, I always sort of felt that there was a ray of hope, that there was sort of like new opportunities, new things coming your way, and it was a time when we could really sort of start again. So that's why it's one of my favourite sort of cards. So this week we're going to be working with a candle called Destiny. Now, destiny is one of those words that everybody has a different interpretation of what destiny actually means to them. But in my interpretation, destiny is something that we can create. It is something that's within our control, but it's also something that's probably meant to happen in our lives no matter what. And it's sort of one of those unusual words. It's a bit like fate, karma, destiny. They're all pretty much the same sort of word. It depends on which one's your preference. But destiny is actually one of my favourite words. And I quite often think of when I was creating the Simply Tarot deck, it was my destiny to do so. And I used to use that word a lot. And I can remember sort of suggesting to the publisher, why don't we call them destiny cards? And they said, no, but we're designing a tarot deck. And I said, yeah, but these are like destiny. You know, this is what a destiny is, that these are destined to me in the marketplace and these are destined for people to love them and whatever. But anyway, they won and I didn't. They called it Simply Tarot, and I sort of still like the word destiny, and it's one of the things that I suppose that I taught a lot over my career about controlling your destiny or working with your destiny is something that we can all do. And I'm a firm believer in the power of positive thinking and being as positive as possible, even in the most negative situations. And I'm not saying I don't get negative from time to time or don't, have an off day or don't, burst into tears for some reason. What I'm saying is that 99% of my life I've tried to put a positive spin on whatever might be happening in my lives, and more importantly, what might be happening in my clients' lives or the people that I'm working with readings, because I feel it's our responsibility to not just be the person that delivers the bad news, but the person that delivers the news and then says, but hey, there is something positive out of all this. There is something to hang on to. There is a guiding light or a shining star, or your destiny's about to change. So working with the destiny candle, 3 things we pop on a piece of paper that we might want to draw towards us, things that you're hoping to bring into your life as being destiny in your life. My current car is nicknamed Destiny because I believe she was my destiny to pick a particular colour car and a particular make. So Destiny's one of my favourite candles. If you watch the show regularly, you'll hear me often talk about, the candles with the 2 wicks in them. I like to burn one side and one the next day, but that's entirely your choice. And it's interesting as we go into the cooler months, you can see here where the candle starts to sort of shrink away a little bit from the sides. It doesn't detract from the candle. It just means that, these are handmade. These are candles that are hand poured, and, we get little things that change in the atmosphere from time to time. So for those of you that don't want to work with a large candle, you can buy a box full of Destiny candles in our little gift box set, or you can have them made up with the 28 that we have in our range. So these ones will burn for about 15 minutes each. It's always 15 hours each, I beg your pardon. It's always a good practice to get into that never place a candle directly on the furniture. Always pop it underneath a coaster, and then that way then you protect the glass, that the container it's in, because with the changes in temperature sometimes the glass can sort of crack. Not that I've had that happen very often. I probably only haven't had it happen 22 times in 20 years. But I believed then it was the atmospheric change, and I didn't have it on a coaster, so therefore it wasn't sort of insulated. So that's why I try and teach everybody, pop it underneath a cork coaster. It just enables that little bit more stability, and you have, the glass containers do get hot. The soy wax doesn't get hot, but the container gets hot, and we wouldn't want you to scorch your wonderful furniture. For those of you that don't want to work with a flame, you can buy a melt warmer down to your local department store or supermarket. Fairly inexpensive. 2 teaspoons of wax on the first day and then half a teaspoon thereafter. And again, working with the same principle, write your list of what you want to attract to you in your life as far as your destiny, and pop it under your melt warmer. You can leave your melt warmer going all day. So these are perfect for around the home or in the office where you don't wish to babysit the flame. That's absolutely a perfect way of working with the soy wax, and this week is all about destiny. So while we're talking about destiny, I thought it was interesting this week as I sort of did a little bit of research on the male Gemini that I was going to feature in our astrology section this week, and I believe this man had an amazing destiny, and I think he brought destiny to life in sort of many magical ways on the big screen. And we're talking about the one and only Gene Wilder. Now, Gene Wilder was the consummate performer. I think he had a magic about him that he was so alluring that we were all captivated when we saw him in something on the big screen. He started out his career very, very young. He was, he was a singer, a songwriter. He was a director. He was an actor. He just enjoyed working with all the genres that were, I suppose, entertainment. But for most people, they sort of associate Gene Wilder with one particular film. But I'm going to talk about another one first off. He wrote, he directed, and he starred in The Lady in Red. Now, that's a very famous song for a few of us oldies know that song quite well, but he actually sort of wrote the film to that as well, and it was one of my favourite films. It probably wasn't the biggest box office hit that most people would have aimed for, but it's a very, very nice film. But for most of us, we probably remember, whether we were grown-ups or whether we were children, one of the most important films that I think that was ever made, and it's an amazing classic, and it's called Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory. And I think most of you will remember that sort of film because it was one of those perennial favourites, and my producers just put up on the screen that Chris de Burgh sang Lady in Red, and he certainly did an amazing job of that. But I was so surprised to find that Gene Wilder actually wrote the material for that film. So, but going back to Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory, I don't think there's a grown-up or a child alive that hasn't seen that film and been taken down the magical path of the picture, where everything was bright and positive and happy, and it was sort of his destiny and everybody's destiny in the film that everything was going to be amazing, and it was just put such a positive slant on childhood. And it's one of those, I don't think we make enough sort of films like that today, where we take children on a magical journey about, that you can lose yourself in the positivity and things can be happy and sweet and nice. We're too busy filling our children's heads full of action films and robots and things like that we've lost a little bit, I think, of teaching them about imagination and being sweet and nice. But anyway, that's my little topic for the day. So moving more along with the astrology of the week this week, I mean, we always have a little glimpse around the universe. We always have a little trip around there to see what's sort of actually happening. And this week, it is actually the time of the year where we're focusing on the energy of Cancer. Now, a lot of people sort of say to me, oh, I don't particularly like this time of the year, Amanda. I feel frumpy. I feel like I want to sit on the couch and eat chocolate and just watch movies. And it doesn't matter what part of the world you're in. I mean, here in the Southern Hemisphere, we can excuse that a little bit because we're in the middle of winter and not all of us want to venture outside in the cold and the wet and the wind and the rain and the snow in some parts. And, we use that as a little bit of an excuse to sort of stay home and sort of curl up on the couch with a good film and, maybe have a chocolate or two. But the thing is, I mean, for the Northern Hemisphere, where you guys should be out and enjoying the sunshine, you wonder why all of a sudden you feel this need to spend some time at home or spend some time with yourself. And it is because of the Cancerian time of the year. It's asking us to just sort of slow down a little bit, honour our emotions and listen to what's being shared with us. And that may mean some time by yourself or some time by the water, whether that be the ocean or the creek or the river or the stream, or just sitting by a wishing well. It's a time of contemplation and allowing our mind to sort of just be and see what messages come towards us. But also this year, for the time in Cancer, we also have two other planets that are sitting in the Cancerian energy at the moment. One is Mars, the planet of action. It's holding hands or conjunct Mercury, the planet of communication. So it's an interesting time because in as much as the Cancer sun is asking us to sort of honour ourselves, to be gentle with ourselves, to sort of sit, to allow our emotions and our instincts and our intuition to sort of come to the forefront and give us the messages and share with us the information that we may need and things that we need to look at, and not necessarily a time of necessarily releasing everything, but just sort of honouring that, nurturing ourselves and sort of feeling more at home with ourselves. And then right behind that, in comes these two big, powerful, hard-hitting planets. And I'm going to use the word hard-hitting here because Mars is coming in. Mars is sort of waving his big stick and sort of saying, I want action. I want things to happen now. What are you waiting for? Why aren't you doing anything? And when he's holding hands or conjunct Mercury, then the communication can become a little bit boisterous. It can become a little bit more forthright. It can become a little bit cranky. It can be sort of, well, why aren't you paying attention to me? I want to get my message across. So it's almost like conflicting sort of energy sitting in Cancer. We've got this nice, gentle calming sort of Cancerian energy with the sun basking on the water. It's like the sun sharing its beautiful light over the lake, and it's sort of everything's twinkly and sparkly and calm, and then all of a sudden it's like in comes this angry sort of storm behind it with the clouds coming in saying, I was here first and I need more attention. So I think we just need to be aware of that we may experience both things, and they may both come together at the same time. 1 minute everything's peaceful and calm, and then out of nowhere comes this aggressive, cranky sort of communication, and you think, where'd that come from? I wasn't expecting that. I didn't set that up, I'm sure, but it's come out of nowhere. So just be aware of that. Maybe make a few allowances. If somebody's a little bit cranky, try and calm them down with some nice, comforting sort of energy. That may be the message here this week, that, that we can all take a little bit more responsibility with that. And for other people, it may just be the time when you need to slow down a little bit and give your body a little bit of a rest and, sort of say to yourself, well, it's okay, I can sit on the couch and watch a movie and I can have a little treat. And when we talk about a little treat of a little bit of chocolate, we're not talking about boxes of it or big bars of it. We're talking about a couple of pieces, not the whole thing. So I know that lots of Cancerians believe that chocolate is one of the 5 food groups, and it probably is for them because it is something that they sort of almost need daily in their diet. I'm not saying, and I'm an advocate for that, but I'm just saying it's something I've noticed over the years that they seem to be happier, little Cancerians, if they have a little bit of chocolate every day versus trying to control that urge to have that, as well as, fresh fruit and vegetables in their diet and lifestyle. So just something to be aware of that. And my producer's saying yes, because I know he's a Cancer, and coffee. Yeah, well, I can't go without the coffee. I think that goes with all signs. But, it's just something when you understand what is a natural thing for your star sign, then you learn to work with that energy instead of against it. But we're going to take our first caller, which is Ellie in Edinburgh in Scotland. Are you there, Ellie?
Hi, yeah.
How can I help you tonight, Ellie? Do you have a question I can work with, sweetie?
Yeah, I want to know if my partner loves me and wants a future with me.
Oh, okay, Ellie. I'm sorry to hear that you sort of have to ask that question, that you don't sort of, that your partner's not sort of giving you the signals that are very clear to you. It's an interesting energy I'm picking up there with your partner, Ellie. He's not what I'm going to say the most demonstrative of sort of men. He doesn't sort of, really show outward signs of affection, or he's one of these people, well, I've told you I loved you once or twice. Shouldn't that be enough? Like I've made the statement, you don't need me to keep repeating it. And that's an unfortunate thing because we, I think, as human beings like to have those words expressed, and expressed often as part of being in a loving relationship. Look, I don't feel for 1 second that he has any intentions of walking away from you and not building a future with you. I just don't think he's the sort of man that's going to keep reaffirming this with you, Ellie. I know that he's had some very deep emotional issues that he's had to come to terms with in his life, and I want to go way back to his childhood, where I don't think he came from what I would call the most loving environment. I think he came from an environment where his physical needs were met, like there was shelter, there was food, there was, that sort of, religious upbringing, those sort of things, but there wasn't a lot of love. There wasn't a lot of love shared or spoken about or cuddled or those sort of things. So we've got a man here who was never really taught what it is to share emotion, what it is to share love. So he's struggled with that all his life. And I can honestly assure you he's been more loving and more outward with you than he's ever been with any other person on the planet. So in that way, I think you should feel quite honoured that, he's been able to be more outwardly loving with you than he has with anyone else. But I think it would really trouble him and hurt him to think that you don't feel loved and that you're questioning whether or not there's a future together. He would be really, really hurt if he knew that. So I think you've just got to sort of look around and be thankful for the little actions that he might show you, Ellie. You know, the little things that he might do, you know, like making you a cup of tea or something without you asking. That's him showing his love. He might not be able to walk up to you and take you in his arms and say, I absolutely love you and I'm happy I'm going to spend the rest of my life with you. That I don't think I think that's something that he thinks about a lot, but he's not able to put it into words and expression. So I hope that's helped you, Ellie.
Yeah, it has. Thank you.
You're very, very welcome, because he really, truly does love you, and he's such a deep thinking man, and there's times there where I see sort of quite a frown on his face and you wonder where he's going. And I think a lot of times that's him sort of questioning, you know, am I good enough for Ellie? Do I give her everything that she needs? You know, it's sort of like he's searching his soul to make sure that he's meeting his obligations and showing you his love in the only way that he knows how. But he would be devastated if he thought you believed that he wasn't going to be around forever. He really would be.
It just upsets me because he's back in touch with his mum. She never brought him up or anything like that, but he's all for her. And like on her birthday, he bought her a present and stuff like that, whereas when it comes to me, he doesn't.
Yeah, but I suppose he doesn't feel that he needs to with you. He sort of feels he's given you all of himself. So, you know, that's present enough. I mean, I can understand you being a little bit upset by that, but please, Ellie, understand that he truly, truly does love you and you are the only woman for him.
Right. He's going to stay with his mum for a week. I'm just a bit insecure. Is he coming back? He's going on Thursday. And maybe a week, maybe just under.
No, he will be coming back, Ellie. You know, I mean, he's spending time with his mum. Who knows how long she's going to be on earth with us. So I suppose he feels that that's important. Anyway, Ellie, we have to leave it there, sweetie. I wish you every success with your relationship, and I know it will be perfectly fine. We're going to talk to Marlene in Los Angeles now in California. Are you there, Marlene?
Yes, I am.
How can I help you tonight, sweetie?
Oh, just I wanted to see if you see anything in the future as far as love or, career.
Okay. All right, Marlene. The first thing that they're showing me or sharing with me is that 2019 has been a year of change for you and endings. It's sort of like, it's like I've really had to clear a lot of things out of my life. Is that how you've sort of been feeling? As if, you know, I've cleared a lot of things out, I've let go of things, but now there's sort of like this emptiness there. I haven't had anything to replace it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's good, because that means now that we've made way for new things to come into your life, particularly love. And it's interesting because they're showing me here someone from your past coming back to cross your path again, a man with dark hair. I couldn't see his face, so I can't really describe that to you, but I know it's somebody from your past. And I don't know that there was ever really a relationship there as such. I think there was definitely an attraction there between the two of you. But I feel that there wasn't the opportunity then, because one or both of you were in a relationship, to explore where that could have gone. Now, I see him crossing your path again in August. Now, I'm not necessarily going to say this is going to be the next new relationship for you. I'm just going to say to you, this needs to come back. We need to look at it. And you might take one look at him and think, oh, yuck, what did I ever see in you? And just look at that as a marker in time, because directly behind that, I do actually feel you're going to meet somebody that's going to come in that will be the new love of your life. And it's like we've almost got to clear this one out of the road too, because he's come back into your mind as, you know, I wonder what could have happened there if things had been different. And that's all it is. It's like a flick of a switch. It's sort of like I look at it, no thank you, goodbye, move on, next. And the next one that comes in, I feel, will be clear and free of title. There's no baggage. There's no current relationship there that he's just walked out of. He's ready to sort of go into a serious relationship if he meets the right person, which is you, which is great. And I feel very comfortable with that. And I feel that relationship will be very strong and very right right from the very beginning, and it will grow very, very quickly into a very serious, committed relationship. The next thing that they're sort of showing me is that, yes, you mentioned about your career. Is it sort of, is there new possibilities or new opportunities there? There will be, but I'm not sure that it's going to be this year, Marlene. I know that you're sort of looking around, and I think that you're sort of preparing and, to sort of make a change, but I just don't know that anything crosses your path that is really what you're looking for to make that change just yet. I'm not saying don't look. I'm just saying I'm just not sure that there's something there just at the moment. If there is something, it'll be more towards the end of this year or the early part of next year. It doesn't seem to be right on the threshold at the moment. There's no point in making a change from one situation to another and then being in exactly the same situation in 3 months' time and thinking, well, that was a waste of time. All I've done is change the window dressing. You need something more that you can get your teeth into. But I did sort of feel that your intuition was getting much stronger, Marlene. So whatever you're doing there to strengthen your intuition, I want you to keep going, or your psychic ability, because it is certainly working and you are listening to what's being shared with you from your guides. And it's like that's the part that I think we need to focus on, is really sort of taking notice of the signs, the symbols, the messages, or whatever it is, whichever way it's being shown to you, whether it's sort of like something that you think of and then the next thing you see it on a street sign or on a billboard and you think, wow, okay, I just thought of that half an hour ago. That's a sign. It could be coming in a dream form. I think it's coming in many forms with you, Marlene. It's not just one area. It's like sort of showing you that messages can come from all different directions, and they want you to sort of be aware of that, because you are very highly tuned and there's more messages to be shared with you. But I just know your life is about to take off in an almighty big way, in a way that you couldn't imagine. So maybe it's probably best if we have the relationship come towards you first, get that nicely settled, and then you'll be ready to move into the new job. I hope that's helped you, Marlene.
Oh, that helped a lot, especially the psychic abilities I have. I dream a lot, and then I get numbers all the time, and just a feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And so, do you know why it's like all this? Like getting, my abilities are getting more attuned.
Because you've made a conscious decision that you're going to listen more, that you're more aware to it, that you're not sort of fighting it anymore, and that's a good thing, and because you're going with the flow, so to speak, then you're starting to notice it more, and it's like anything. The more we practice it, the stronger it becomes. So if you're seeing numbers and that's what you're drawn to, then maybe you need to look at sort of taking up the study of numerology or astrology or something along those lines that will enhance that will enable that to become even stronger. But only go to what you're drawn to, Marlene. Don't force yourself into something just because that's what I've suggested. Unless that really feels right, don't go that way. But I suggested that because you said of the numbers and things like that are coming to you very strongly. And with dreams, try and write them down. Write down how you felt, whether there was anything peculiar or unusual in the dream, and in a journal. And then you can go back and look at it in a few months' time and know that you've had answers there. Anyway, Marlene, that's where we've got to leave it because we're about to come to the end of the show.
I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you.
You're very welcome, sweetie. I'd like to take this opportunity to wish everybody an amazing week. Whatever you're doing around this amazing planet of ours, make sure that you're kind to yourself, kind to other people, but don't forget to take the time to nurture yourself a little bit, maybe with a good film or some Netflix or something like that, and a little bit of chocky or a glass of wine, a cup of coffee on the couch. Won't do any of us any harm to have that little bit of a holiday on the couch watching a great film. Until next week, bye for now.
Hi, I'm I'm Jenny, and thanks for watching Moonstruck. And now back to A1R on the air, Psychic Talk Radio now on Moonstruck TV and Lightning Television.
I have a very special guest with us today, Dawn Barlow, and I want to talk about her book that we're actively promoting. So, hello, this is Dawn Barlow.
Hello.
And welcome to the show, Dawn.
Thank you.
Now, can you tell me a bit about your book? It's called From Dark to Light. Tell me about it.
Yes, it's called From Dark to Light, a memoir of spiritual awakening, and this is the book right here. Wrong. The wrong way. Anyway, my book is about a spiritual awakening. It goes from my life, being born into an abusive alcoholic family, all the tragedies I endured in my life, and all the spiritual things that happened in between, and bringing me to the point where I realized I'm a medium. And so many things have happened in this book. And it's also about communication with the world of spirit. I communicate with, like Gail does, like with Jesus and Mother Mary, Archangel Gabriel, Michael, and a lot. And I also have communication in here from Michael Jackson. I have a whole chapter. Now, I don't look for these people to step forth. He stepped forth on his own. When that Neverland video documentary came out, I have whodunits in here. It's their words. And Lizzie Borden, I have many things in here. They're very interesting.
So what prompted you to write this book?
Well, after I have a brother who committed suicide, and through that, I found a medium. And this medium actually helped me to find my path. But in it, she said that they said to her, I was supposed to stop communicating and writing down everything. So when I did, angels started coming to me, and they told me to write down every single thing they told me, regardless of how big or small it was. And then they finally told me, you need to write a book. You need to start writing about our communications. And then later on, they told me that I need to incorporate life into it to show people that no matter where you are in your life, no matter where you sit in the darkness, there's always a way out. You can find your way to the light.
So what sort of people have given you messages in this? Is there any particular messages that you'd like to sort of bring up in this conversation?
Okay, a particular message is I was given messages from the angels. I can't remember exactly Archangel Gabriel or who it was, but telling me I was going to rise from the ashes, and I was going to move from where I was. I was going to get $20,000. I was going to get a new car, and I wasn't in a position to move. I wasn't in a position to buy a new car. I didn't understand what they were saying, but I wrote it anyway. But and then a month after they told me I was going to rise out of the ashes, the apartment I was living in burnt to the ground. But a month previous to that, I got apartment insurance because I was prompted to from the lady who gave me the car insurance, and I would have never in a million years gotten apartment insurance. And I know that was all through the work of spirit. So I lost everything in the fire, but I really gained everything in retrospect. The place I live in is much better, and people from everywhere came to help me out. I got a check for $20,000 like they said. I rose out of the ashes. I mean, I believe everything they tell me. No doubt about it.
That's quite incredible. So if people wanted to buy your book, how would they go about finding your book?
You can buy my book on Amazon.com or on my website, DawnBarlowMedium.com. And it's called, once again, From the Dark to the Light, a Memoir of Spiritual Awakening.
Brilliant. So I know that we're going to have two callers calling in, and we're just waiting for the callers. But in the meantime, is there anything else that you'd like to share about the book, or anything that you mentioned Michael Jackson?
Yes.
So did he come to you a lot?
He did. He came to me to make a whole chapter out of it.
Wow.
Yes, he did. He came on a chapter. Yeah, he was coming on a daily basis to me until he said everything that he needed to say.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
And I hadn't ever really heard of Lizzie Borden until I came to the United States. And ever since we've been speaking about Lizzie Borden, it's amazing how well she's known in this country and how many people, know of her and the supposed sort of axe murders that took place.
Right.
And there's even sort of a poem, isn't there, about her?
Yes, there is.
But so is there much about her in the book?
There is, spread throughout the book. She come to me sporadically. And just before I published the book, she came to me because there was something that she wanted to put in the book that she previously was sort of shameful to say. So I believe it's a revelation, and I believe this tells it all. Yeah.
Right. And so did you get many angels come to you?
Oh, angels, everyday angels are around me, but yes, I've got many angels, many archangels, Haniel, Raphael, Gabriel, Michael, many of them, and just beautiful angels that some of them don't like, they say, well, I don't need a name, but then I always like a name just so I know who they are.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Do you have a favorite angel?
I love them now, but I think Gabriel, because Gabriel worked with me with this book. He helped me to write it.
Yeah. Did he come quite a lot?
He did come quite a bit. Yes, he did. He stays very close to me. Right. I appreciate his support and his help. Yes.
So what does he look like?
The essence of him, the difference between angels and archangels is angels are beautiful and they fly around, and I can see, as being a medium, I have the gift to see. And Gabriel and all the archangels are very tall when they come through. They just got a big, powerful energy about them. There's a big difference between angels and archangels. So, and he's just, he always comes wearing brown, like a brown robe to me. Wow, yeah. So I know it's him.
Oh, I have no idea about that.
Yeah.
And does he come, because when I see him, I always see him with the I don't know what it's called, like a...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called either, but he's considered the messenger of God.
Yes, so. It's called a...
It is. Yes, it is.
So anyway, I believe I have some callers calling in, but
thank you so much.
But before we go any further, I'd like to just tell you how you can get hold of From Dark to Light. It's on Amazon.com, and you can also it's by Dawn Barlow, and so buy your copy. I've read it. It's amazing. You've got to read it. It's fantastic. So thank you for listening about Dawn's book.
Thank you.
Now, so I have some callers, and I believe I have Christelle in Columbia, Georgia. Are you there, Christelle?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello and welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Now, I'm a medium, and I can connect to loved ones or give you guidance from my guides. Is there a particular way that you'd like me to work?
Loved ones would be, or guidance, whatever is necessary. I feel like the spirits will tell you what I need.
It can be that way, or it can be where I focus. And it doesn't quite sort of work in sort of I think it's an interesting thing that is sort of raised. I think a lot of people think that we're just sort of, they'll just come in and tell us what you need, and that's not always the case. Sometimes we have to ask them the sort of questions. But I will see what I get. Now, the first thing that have you got children around you? Because I'm seeing children.
I do. I do have a child.
Yeah, and is this child quite small?
Yes, she's 3.
Yeah, I felt like 2 or 3, sort of, quite small, and I'm being drawn to the idea of you having children, and I'm being told that is this a daughter?
No.
It's not.
No.
It's a
I
son.
have a son. Yeah.
Okay.
I have a son.
A grandson, did you say?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Did you say it's a grandson?
He well, I don't have any grandchildren.
Right, so you have a son that's 3 years old. So what I'm being told and what I'm being shown is that there's something really important about your little boy, and there's something really important that you need to know about your son, because what they're making me feel is that your son is a really evolved soul, and he. I feel with him that he will be doing some important work in this world as he grows up. I feel that something about helping mankind, and I'm not quite sure exactly how that's going to be, but I feel that I feel that there's a real importance for his academia, because he needs to be have everything that he needs to be sort of academically achieve. I'm being shown that I just feel that he's going to do something quite astonishing, like really astonishing. He's and I'm drawn to science, the sciences as well. I feel that he's going to, it's almost like he's going to make some sort of scientific discovery or some sort of discovery. And I feel that, and that's why the academic field for him will be so important. It's almost like he needs to go to the right schools and the right university and the right, and I'm just being shown that you, it's almost like, and I'm being sort of shown that you, it's almost like this son of yours is a gift. And I feel that you've been in a lucky situation where you've been able to spend a lot of time with him and a lot of nurturing, and I feel that that's meant to be because of where you are at with or what is required for your son. I'm really sort of like he's going to do something really special in the world. How does that sound, Christelle?
That's awesome. That's stunning, actually. He started reading at 2.5.
Yeah, so you can see that he's an intelligent boy, can't you? You know, I just feel
he took apart my husband's radio when he left the screwdriver on the counter when he was 1.5. That was fun.
Yeah. And Christelle, trust me, I don't say this to everyone. This is an unusual situation that I'm getting where I just feel that your son is it's like he's going to be a bit of a genius. Like he's highly intelligent and going to be doing some special stuff in the world. And would I be right in saying that he was talking early as well?
I couldn't hear what you said. I'm sorry.
Would I be right in saying that he was talking early in his life?
Oh yeah, yeah. He started first words were 4 months old.
Yeah, he's because I'm repeatedly hearing how sort of marvelous he is, and he has come to this earth plane to do a specific job. He's got a very important job to do, and I feel like he's going to make some sort of discovery. It's a bit like Louis Pasteur discovering penicillin, or that just sort of radicalized the whole world, where we were able to have antibiotics. And and not die from infectious diseases. It's just quite. I just feel like it's going to be something like that. He's quite an intelligent young boy and will do exceptionally well. I also feel with him that he will end up in a school that will nurture him well. I wouldn't be at all surprised if it's something like a private school or something of that nature.
My husband wants to send him to St. Bart's in the UK, which is where he went.
What's the name of the school?
St. Bart's, I think. St. Bernard. I can't. St. Bart's.
St.
Bernard.
St. Bart.
Yeah. It's a boarding school in England. My husband's from Burgess Hill in the UK.
I was going to be cheeky and say, well, that's why he's so intelligent.
That's kind of what my husband said. He was like, oh, we have to get him a British education.
Yeah. But the British education is quite renowned. But I just know that he's going to end up going to a fantastic school. But sadly, we've run out of time, and but I just want to let you know that he is going to be exceptional in this world. So lucky you to have this wonderful son. And thank you very much, Christelle, for calling in. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure. So we have Stephanie in Dallas, Texas. Are you there, Stephanie?
I am here.
Hello, and welcome to the show, A1R Psychic Radio. Now, do you, I'm a medium and I can connect to loved ones, or I can look at, give you guidance from my guides. Is there a particular way that you'd like me to work?
I am more so, I'm just in a transitional phase in my life right now, in an internal spiritual aspect, and I just don't know what this is about or the type of level the universe is trying to take me to. Like, it's really out of my comfort zone, and I'm confused.
Yes, yeah, I can understand that, because I know firsthand that when the spirit world decide they're coming to get you, they give you all sorts of stuff all the sort of time. Now, I'm having loads of things flashing in my clairvoyance, and I just need to decipher them. I saw a teacup, teacup readings. I saw. I'm seeing signs, like you must be seeing signs everywhere, like the writing up somewhere. Because I know that that's going to be significant with you, and that's one of the ways that they're trying to get to you. I'm also being told that you are hearing things as well. So they are activating your clairaudience, and I'm being told that that's only going to. And I'm a clairaudient medium, so that's I hear the words as they're coming through, and that's only going to get stronger with you. You're going to become more and more clairaudient. I feel so that makes sense to you, does it, Stephanie?
Yes, it makes sense. And then when I meditate, or if I'm up in prayer, like my hands and my arms, like they have funny movements and stuff, and they just start doing weird things on their own. And I'm like, what is this? What am I doing? I don't understand. Like, during the process, though, it feels very rejuvenated. My mind is in a whole different place when I get out of that level, out of that state.
Yeah.
But when I come back, down, my energy is like balanced. I go back and think about it, and like, what was I just doing?
It sounds like you're actually getting into an altered state. And when you go into an altered state, you're moving from your conscious mind to your subconscious mind. And that's how you access spirit. And sometimes when you go sort of deep in a meditative state or in prayer, like you're describing, you can get a sort of shaky arm, because that used to happen to me. But as you become more experienced with mediumship, and you get used to sort of the energies that spirit work with, then you won't get that shakiness that you're talking about.
Yeah, so like now that you're talking, I have flashes in my eyes, like it just keep coming and going, like, and it take me to a picture of something and then it'll go away, but I can still hear what you're saying at the same time.
Yes, yeah, and that's your clairvoyance. So they're activating that. Wow. What you need to do is you need to get to a local spiritualist church, and you need to sort of start sort of opening up and sitting in class, because I always liken developing mediums, or mediums that have got, like with you've got all the raw materials, and it's almost like you need the tutoring. So it's a bit like you may be good at music, but unless you go to music school, you're not going to be any good. Or you may be, have a natural flair for art, but unless you go to art school, you're not going to be any good. And sort of mediumship is just the same. You need to sit in circle. You need to learn to open up and close down. You need to, learn all about the different faculties, the hearing, the seeing, and the sensing. And these, and with practice, you will only get better. I'm being told that your mediumship has come from your mother's side of the family. So there must be somebody in your mother's side of the family that had sort of like instincts. The trouble is that a lot of people in previous times would cover these things up, and they wouldn't go, wouldn't be public because of, religion or such like. But I do feel that I'm linking in with your mum's side of the family. Okay. Does that make sense to you?
Well, it kind of a little bit, because as I'm going through the DNA process, there is some things that I've noticed, like only my mother's side of the family has.
Yes.
Like we're Native American. I've seen that in a dream. Like it was just like a big red flowers, and I just seen this Native American in this native suit playing the little, I don't know the proper name for it. I guess that's some information that I need to do upon myself.
Is it just your mother's side of the family?
Witch magic and stuff, don't they?
Is it just your mother's side of the family that's Native American, or is it both?
It might be both.
Okay. But I just feel very strongly drawn to your mother's side of the family that have this sort of connection. And Native Americans often appear as guides. I know it sounds like a bit of a cliche, but how many people who are mediums say, I've got a Native American working with me? And the reason being is because they were so incredibly spiritual. They were amazing people. And I know that, but I can feel that your awareness. And I feel also that you've been sensing things before they're going to happen. So in other words, you've had some premonitions as well. I'm sensing around you.
Yes, and it's like, and they're getting more and more intense. And like, I've been on social media, and then when it comes across, like after, I say it before it happens, and then when it happens, and someone in my family sees that what I said came true, it's like, but then they paint me out to be the bad guy, like, oh, she's crazy. They just think the most crazy stuff ever.
And one of the most important things, for yourself and anybody who's listening, is that if you have this gift, and let me tell you, it's a gift. It's an incredible gift. To have mediumship in your life is the best thing that you could ever have. And the problem is that if you're surrounded by people who don't approve, or who are critical of what you're doing, or sort of, say you're mentally ill or something like that. If you're surrounded by people who do that to people like us, then it's not good for you and it's not healthy. And what's really important is that you perhaps find a local spiritualist church. I don't know if there are any in Dallas. I know that sort of, when you go to the sort of south, it starts to there's less and less spiritual sort of stuff going on. But if there is one, I have noticed that. I know that sort of, in the Carolinas, there's just doesn't seem to be any spiritualist churches that I've come across, but maybe there is, and maybe somebody's going to, write to me and tell me there is one here. But I do feel that it's so important that you're effectively surrounding yourself with people who are like-minded, who understand you and get you. So, by going to a spiritualist church, it will help you to open up, and it will help you to just feel normal. Just feel,
like it would. I think it'll help me bring out my gift even the more, because it makes me shut down when, family don't understand. That's why I'm like, wow, I can't believe that it came from my side of the family. But I do know that we are somewhere down the line. We are Native American. I've seen it.
Exactly.
They come to me and talk to me.
Yeah. But I just want to sort of, reassure you that there's nothing wrong with you, and you. But the key is to be surrounded by people who, like this community on A1R Psychic Radio. You look at all the readers and stuff like that. We're all doing this, and we all had to start at some point. And sometimes it's a bit like coming out, I think, and I feel that I feel that I have well and truly come out. I've told the world in case you didn't know, I'm a medium. So
it is. But, it feels like that.
It does, because there will be so much criticisms, but have the strength and the conviction, because this is God's gift to you. And why would you deny a gift that's been given to you?
Right. I even tried being in the Christian world, and it's just not for me. And my guides tell me all the time that lifestyle is just not for you. Not to say that there's anything wrong with it or I'm against it. It was not for me.
Yeah, and you have to find your own sort of niche and your own place. But in the Christian world, they will accept, the concept of a prophet, but perhaps not a medium.
Tonya Reeves, Australia's psychic cowgirl, coming at you. It's afternoon here in Australia, but I think it's evening for most of those in America and Canada. So I believe, anyway. So yeah, I hope you've had a good week. It's been pretty frantic here, actually. We've had a few different things on, and it's just, how can I put it? It's just been crazy. I look back and I think, I don't know what I've done, but yeah, anyway. So I was chatting to another friend and he was saying the same. So I went, yeah, it must be just something that's happening at the moment. Now, today I will share some insights in a lot, I suppose, messages that I've had that have been consistent throughout the readings that I've done over the last week and a bit. And that's been, for a lot of people, it's almost like we've got to the middle of the year. We started off at a pace and we're kind of feeling over the last, 4 to 8 weeks, a little bit stuck or a bit like, hang on a minute, I need to regroup. Where am I at? And I just feel like I relate to that energetically. It's a little bit like we've been pulled back to take a breath and consolidate what it is that we want to bring into our lives over the next 6 months. I feel